They wanted me to pay. Now, they're the ones getting sued. When we first toured the house, it was like walking into a daycare explosion. Bikes everywhere, chalk drawings across the driveway, random holes in the yard. I thought, okay, kids live here, no big deal. But the chaos didn't belong to the sellers. It belonged to the neighbors. I didn't know it yet, but those kids would soon become our biggest headache. The day we closed, we found 3 of them zooming around on scooters in our driveway. I smiled, introduced myself, and asked where they lived. They pointed next door. We went over to meet their parents, explained we were moving in soon, and said we'd prefer the kids not play around the trucks and boxes. The parents smiled politely and agreed. I thought that was that. It wasn't. A week after moving in, I came home from work to find bikes thrown across our lawn and fresh craters in the side yard. Apparently, the kids had decided to turn our property into a fossil dig site. I went over, as calmly as I could, and told the mom what was happening. She actually laughed and said, "Oh, the previous owners always let them dig. They're just looking for dinosaur bones." I had to take a deep breath and remind her that we were the new owners and we didn't want anyone digging holes. She gave me this look like I'd just kicked a puppy. 2 weeks later, the bikes and chalk were back. Our security cameras caught the kids riding around doing tricks in our driveway like it was their personal skate park. I marched over and told their mom again, no more playing on our property. She rolled her eyes and muttered, "The previous owners didn't mind." That line was becoming her favorite excuse. So my wife and I did what any sensible adults would do. We put it in writing. A certified letter, clear as day. Your children are not permitted on our property for any reason. We even got the signed receipt back. 3 peaceful weeks followed. I honestly thought we'd finally gotten through to them. Then came the Sunday crash. I was in the garage working on a small project, truck parked halfway down the driveway. I heard laughter and the unmistakable clatter of bike wheels. I stepped outside, saw the 2 boys circling, and told them gently to head home. They left, or so I thought. 5 minutes later came the scream. One of the kids had ridden full speed into the side of my truck. The sound of metal and bike frame colliding was sickening. The boy was crying, clutching his wrist. Before I could move, his mother came barreling out of her house, screaming like I'd run him over intentionally. She accused me of hurting her son for parking my own truck in my own driveway. Her other kid, bless him, tried to tell the truth. His brother wasn't paying attention, but she wasn't having it. My wife came out to see what was happening, and the neighbor got right in her face, yelling that we were going to regret this. Then she stormed off, dragging both kids with her. That night, around 8, her husband came knocking. He was calmer, but just as firm. He said we were responsible for the boy's medical bills, a fractured wrist, stitches on his chin, and that we had created a dangerous environment. I asked how parking in my driveway was dangerous. He said, "You knew kids played there." I nearly laughed. I told him we'd warned them 4 times, in person and in writing, that they weren't allowed on our property. He left furious, saying we'd be hearing from their lawyer. The next morning, we reviewed the footage. The cameras caught everything. Me telling the kids to leave, the sound of the crash, and the younger boy's voice clearly saying his brother wasn't paying attention. We sent everything to our insurance agent, who assured us they'd fight any claim. He even advised us to file a police report for harassment and trespassing, so we did. The officer who reviewed our evidence said flat out that the neighbors were trying to intimidate us into paying. He said we had every right to protect our property, and that their behavior bordered on harassment. That same day, we called a lawyer. He looked over everything and said, "Don't wait for them to sue you. Flip it." So we did. We filed our own suit, trespassing, harassment, and property damage for all the holes their kids dug up. This morning, the papers were served. I watched through the window as the mother's jaw dropped. She wanted us to pay her kids' hospital bills for an accident that happened after 4 warnings on our property. Now she'll be paying legal fees instead.